Prior to attending our workshop on digital storytelling, we recommend that you visit this terrific site from the University of Houston called the Educational Uses of Digital Storytelling. On this site, you'll find a number of interesting resources to help you gather material for making your own digital story. You'll find a variety of examples in a number of different categories, some of them more educational than others. You'll find some lists and links to available software, as well as Web 2.0 tools. You'll find a lot of background information on the concept of digital storytelling, and some information to help you get started, as well as some links to some good articles and other websites, and links to rubrics in case you decide to use digital storytelling as an assignment in class. So I hope that by giving you a brief tour of this site, it will help you think about what you'd like to do in your own digital story and plan for the kinds of materials you'll need to bring with you to the workshop, such as a script or text for narration or for written captions or written slides, and some images that either belong to you or which are copyright free. So on the examples page, this is where you can get a good idea of what other people do with digital stories. Some of these categories have more samples listed than others. For example, the mathematics page has 4 story samples. The health and medical page only has 2, but they're both interesting. And the art page has, I think, 10 or 12. And these are all very interesting, and I might recommend a couple on this page for you to look at for a couple of different styles. If you're interested in looking at ones that just use written text and images and a music background but no spoken narration, I recommend looking at Picasso in his own words or Van Gogh's Letters to Theo. And then if you're interested in looking at one that does use spoken narration, I recommend looking at the Gates. So for any of the samples that you want to look at, if you happen to be viewing this site on an iPad, you'll want to use the first link, which will play the video as an MP4. But if you're just on a computer, whether on a Mac or Windows, you want to use the link in the middle. I don't think you probably want to download any of these videos as flash videos, but they certainly make that available to you. So let's just take a brief look at one. Let's look at Van Gogh's Letters to Theo. I won't play the whole video, but just to give you an idea. So you can see how this video alternates between images and slides of text, and then how important the music background is to giving the whole presentation some continuity and interest, since there's no spoken voice. And clearly with the dates, these are pieces of text from Van Gogh's letters. You'll also notice that even though these are still pictures, they use that Ken Burns effect of zooming in and out of the images. Gives it some motion and makes it seem not so still. So that's an interesting example of the kinds of digital stories that you can view on this site. We'll also look at another site where you can see some other examples. The software list lists tools in different categories that you might want to consider using. Of course, in our workshop we're going to be limited to just using a few different tools, but on your own you might decide to use some different ones, and so these are good lists for you to check out. On the Web 2.0 list, they have suggestions about podcasts, blogs with some examples, wikis, and some of these are about digital storytelling. Some of them are more examples of digital storytelling. And then under the More Web 2.0 resources, there's this really great resource from Alan Levine of the New Media Consortium, and it's called 50 Ways to Tell a Story, where he has taken a single story and done it 50 different ways, maybe more than 50 by now, with 50 different tools. So this is a really nice site to visit. And then they have a few extra ones on this page, including VoiceThread, which is one of the tools that we'll suggest in our workshop. The Essentials menu, as I suggested earlier, gives you a lot of background on digital storytelling, so if you're still a little fuzzy about what people mean by digital storytelling, you'll certainly want to look at some of these resources. And the Create page has a number of good resources for getting started. Of course, there's the Getting Started page, which has a nice outline of steps to follow to try to get organized, getting your script ready, collecting resources, and that sort of thing. And then, if you're not familiar with storyboarding, since this is a visual product that you're going to create, you might want to visit this page and think about creating some kind of a visual outline or a visual representation of the organization of the elements of your story. And they have some links at the bottom to storyboard tools if you don't want to draw one, with just pencil and paper. And then, as I said, if you are interested in using digital storytelling as a classroom assignment, they do have some examples of rubrics. They have links to rubrics. They have links to websites where you can build a rubric, and they have suggestions on how to evaluate a digital story. On the links page, there are some articles, examples of research, but I would refer you to the link called Other Digital Storytelling Sites. The first link on that page takes you to the Center for Digital Storytelling, and they really started it all, and they're very well known for their digital storytelling workshops. So I would suggest that you go here and read about all of their resources and what they do, and then to see examples from them, if you scroll down to near the bottom of the page, they have a link to their YouTube channel, which has many, many, many examples of digital stories. This one will start playing as soon as you get to this page.
It often happens back in the stacks in the archives that I open a box whose contents I've never seen before.
And they have a long list, 70, as it says here, of 70 examples of digital stories. So you can do some searching there and pick a few to view. Or over here on the right-hand side, they have some featured playlists where you can read the categories and then pick a category that interests you. And it tells you how many videos are in each category. You can see there are 17 in this one, 37 in this one, 3 in this one. So this is a great resource too. So Please visit this site, explore the resources that are available here, and try to get some ideas about planning for your story before the workshop. Plan some sort of a script and gather some materials, some images, whether they're images that belong to you or images that you find on some of the resources from this site. And we look forward to seeing you in the digital storytelling workshop.